Board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, it's what I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing, and over here to this side of me is Rita, who is absolutely lovely. We've made a game, Rita, Tiz and I, and this is something we've decided to design. We're going to work on it a bit more with only 4 dinosaurs, or maybe 5. Dinosaurs love spicy pies. Dinosaurs love spicy pies. Yeah, it doesn't feel right without the dinosaurs love spicy pies. It's what I'm talking about. Dinosaurs love spicy pies. I'm not gonna shout. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. This is episode 343 of Bezzy Beats and Board Game Blether. And oh my gosh, today I'm still going to have Tiz's name in there out of respect, even though sadly Tiz can't make it. But we are game making with Tiz Creel and Rita Modl, even though today it will just be the 2 of us. And we are going to be maybe playtesting, we're definitely going to be pondering, discussing, and designing some sort of thing. And so, can you, let's not get too much into the game, but how would you explain if someone was like, what is this game all about? Who are you? What are you doing? And oh my gosh, firstly, hello, Bodhi. It is lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us all the way from the Netherlands. And secondly, Matthew Dunstan just raided.
Woo-hoo!
Hello, Matthew Dunstan. Thank you so much for raiding us. And
Matthew,
hello,
are you testing with us online?
hello, Alex. Hello, Rob. Hello, Matthew. Hello, J Foolsguard. And hello, Nicola Straccia. So, thank you, Matthew, for the raid. I want you to know it's appreciated. Maybe it's morning or bedtime. Either way, it's a meeting of minds. Today we will be talking about a game we designed. It came from 3 different minds. Tiz isn't here today, but still helped make this game we can play. That is my summary of everything. And hello, Yoda. It is lovely to see you, as always. And we've got a lot of European people here. And yeah, I see lots of faces that I know everyone's from Europe. It's not really an international show, but sometimes we have people, so no one has bedtime just yet, hopefully. But
so if there is a fair again, so we all have
you mean
to
Essenspiel?
Essenspiel. If I don't know if this year is going to be, but next year hopefully we have to. Everybody who's always in the chat, we have to meet on one time in Essen.
Oh, I knocked over my pineapple. I've got the dried up pineapple.
Oh, my dog farted.
And Yoda says, I wouldn't mind going to bed. So lots of love. That's not great. Yeah. And Matthew might be Australian, but yeah, we are kind of looking at Rita's face from the dog fart. You know what? If there's Spiel going on in 2021, if I feel safe going there, I will go there. But I will not go there as a publisher. I would go there maybe as a designer. I might try and sort out some meetings. I might go there as a gamer, trying to, play some things. Whether it will happen in 21, I don't know. I'm kind of pessimistic right now.
Yeah, me too. Because so in Britain the vaccines are very, very pushing, But in Germany, we are very slow and yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, let's do something like you suggested. Even if it's in 2022, let's have a drink one night, like, because especially if I've kept doing this by then, there will be some sorts of, okay, all the people from the beats and board games, and then maybe we can all sing some music together and do some musical improv, just for
Yes,
those who want.
and everybody has to wear red things.
That's going to be easy. I mean, I don't wear anything else, especially not when I'm going to spiel. And G Fool's Guard says, yes, it's his uphill here too. Likes the plan of us all meeting together. And Yoda says, no, I will be wearing green. You know what? I think what we could do is we could... I don't want to put too many restrictions on people. I want to say, yeah, if you want to, maybe there can be some sort of fun optional thing. You know what? It can be like the battle of red and green. That could be fun. Like some people wear green, some people pick red. It's kind of like pick a side, or you can wear neither and you're staying neutral. I don't know. It's just an idea. Oh, there you go. J Fool's Guards. Wearing a red shirt right now. And so we've got plenty of time to organize this, but it seems like a fun idea. But let's get back to, we were about to introduce the topic, which is this game, Dinosaurs Love Spicy Pies. I'm going to say it's a game that we originally did for my game jam, yourself, myself, and Tiz Creel. Tiz Creel, lovely person. Rita, you're best known for Men at Work currently, but King of 12 just got an English release, so congratulations on that. And
thank you.
Fingers crossed it'll do well. I'm best known for Yogi. Tiz Creel is best known for visual arts and doing things on the pavements and on the streets.
Yes, she has a very interesting Instagram account where she posts all the crazy stuff she did. So very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, Tiz is lovely, and we worked together on this game where from the first day it was always about the spice, or if you are a German, you might call it the curry. Like currywurst, I don't know if that came into it. It's like maybe you're just a lover of, spiciness because, it's your Germanic blood. I don't know. That's not even a stereotype. This is just like some wrong facts. That's how I'm declaring that as if it's true. It's not true, is it?
So spicy is more chili for us, or for me. Okay. But it's only my opinion. So curry for some people is also very spicy, but for me it's not. But
anyway, from the very start, we always had awards for fishy pies, for veggie pies, for meaty pies, and that hasn't really changed. And then we also had this sort of award for multiplying the spice with the most predominant ingredients that is not spice, and that hasn't really changed. But these have come to the foreground because before I think there was only one of these and everything was tabulated with the spiciness. But now we've got, basically there are 7 awards. Spiciness for the little pie, medium pie, and big pie. These 3 awards and a mixed pie. And you're trying to make nice pies and trying to spread out your ingredients, because if you have 2 ingredients that are next to each other in a pie, that's no good. You want to mix together your pies. Come on. It's basic culinary, yeah, exactly, meeting together.
Yeah, Bess, maybe you share this to the other people. So if you have time, feel free to test with us now, because all you need is this sheet and a pencil. And I have the dice, so all you need is this. So you can join us to playtest online.
And stuffbybez.com/Discord is where you want to go. We've got I hope that we've got a recent enough thing on the, let's see, games by. I will Game Jam. It is quite low down, but dinosaurs love spicy pies. They're card free. That isn't the latest one, but it gives you all the information that you need. And you can use that. Functionally, it's the same. We've just changed the visuals very marginally. And so if you pop into the Discord, then you will see the thing.
Yeah. So the important thing are these 3 pies. So it's 3 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5. So you can also make them not round.
So let's take a slight step back, and before we get into this game, let's chat about some of our recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights. So, recent highlights. What are some of your recent highlights? Firstly, lots of love to Rob, and enjoy your breakfast. And, is it just because I hardly ever eat breakfast? If you want to grab your breakfast and munch while you're listening, it's all good. If you want to munch and you prioritize your breakfast above listening, that is also fair. I'm not the boss of you. Take care of yourself, take care of your body. But what are some things that you have enjoyed as opposed to things you haven't? Tiz, please let us know.
I'm Rita, but it's okay. I'm also...
Sorry, Rita.
It's okay. So last weekend, we did playtest prototypes online. So normally it is okay. You can also name me Tiz. It's a cool name. So normally every year in March or April, a few designers from South Germany, from Spieleautorenzunft Game Designers Association, are connecting and meet in Brixen. It's in Italy, in North Italy. And it's a whole weekend. We are playtesting prototypes. So mostly board game designers are there. And the whole week we are playtesting. And so because of Corona, we can't do this. So last year it wasn't. And this year we couldn't do it either. So we decided to try to make it online. And this was last weekend. And so we had 12 prototypes, and we are tested 12 prototypes online, either with a camera or Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator. And we also had a discussion about the business and so on. So it was of course not the same as in real, but for this time it was very cool and it worked very well. And we also playtested Dinosaurs Love Spicy Pies, so this was very cool.
That is lovely. And I was just trying to find the sheet and actually pop the 4th version into the Discord, which arguably I really should have done at the time. But hey ho, I am going to get it done in just a moment. But my recent highlights personally would involve having some nice walks yesterday, having all the fish and chips, by which I mean fish and chips, and also king prawn, battered king prawns, and black pudding. It was good times. And yeah, arranging some cooking dates essentially with one of my parents. Like tonight we're going to make choriste game, I think is what we're making together. So yeah, I started reading Alice in Wonderland, just generally trying to enjoy life. And so let's move on to, if anyone else has any recent highlights, please let us know if you have anything that you wish to tell us. Otherwise, let's move on to the brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? Brilliant things.
So actually I have a thing which is not brilliant because it's snowing again here and I can't see snow anymore. I'm so tired of seeing snow. So
yeah. I have to admit, even here, like, there's no snow, but I'm just tired of the cold. I would like to be in a more tropical climate.
So it's like having corona and can't go outside. So normally when the sun is shining and it's corona, you can go outside and doing stuff and feeling good. But now you even can't go outside. This is
yeah. But no, sorry, we've got to talk about a brilliant thing.
Brilliant thing. Okay, brilliant thing. I'm watching Netflix and Amazon Prime, and I have to recommend you. Okay, it's a German show. It's a German TV show. You can't see that, but it's called Last One Laughing on Amazon Prime, and it's so funny. So maybe it's also in English. It's a TV show which is in nearly every.
Laughing, okay.
And nearly every.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, this is so funny because there are 10 big comedians from Germany, so very big personalities in one room for 6 hours. Yeah, and they don't allow to
as a form of torture.
It's no. They are in one room.
So like but what about the toilets? Aren't they allowed to go to the toilet?
No. There are breaks, of course. But
okay. I thought this was like a strange reality show where they have to just get too intimate with each other.
No. And the theme is there are not allowed to laugh. So everyone has two lives, and if you there is the showmaster is behind the scenes and having a lot of cameras there, and if he sees one laughing, he's buzzing, and the person lost one life, and if he's laughing for the second time, he's out. So it's last man standing. And there are comedians, so they have a lot of things to perform to bring the other person to laugh, and this is so funny because everybody sees them and they're not trying to laugh, so this is very, very funny. Yeah,
I like it. I mean, I'm imagining that would be fun to watch as a viewer. Nicola Straccia suggests that might be a Japanese game show that they then took the format in the same way that Big Brother has been adapted to all the other countries. America's Got Blank has Got Talent. All of these things but just based on the time that I was spending with Emma when we were trying to be neutral and other people are trying to give me we're trying to say things, and I was trying to not laugh and not commiserate, and I don't think it's good for the soul. I don't think it's good for the soul to restrain your laughter.
When you see the person are going inside, and sometimes there are cuts and there are having interviews with the person, and they all say that couldn't be very healthy for me. And but it's a show. So
basically torture people for the sake of entertainment. That's what we do all the time. Yeah. So, you know what? I feel like really the brilliant thing here, if we want to find a brilliant thing, it's got to be making people laugh, because and I think that comedy itself, I can imagine as a viewer you're seeing all these comedians and you are allowed to laugh, you're allowed to kind of just enjoy the stuff.
The first time you also trying not to laugh because you're also very challenged to do the same. But then very early I started laughing. So.
I mean, I think anyone who's watched the Neutrality with Bez and Emma would probably say that I am good at remaining neutral and not laughing. But again, it's just, it doesn't feel like a brilliant thing, not laughing. I think what we've got to say is that the brilliant thing is laughing.
Yeah.
Okay. If anyone has any questionably quick questions, then get them in now. You've got a minute or two to get your questionably quick questions in. Otherwise, we're going to possibly chat. Actually, we had a couple of things that we were talking about before the show started that we said we would talk about in about 2 minutes. One of them was about, what were we talking about that we said we... Oh yeah, red. And there was something else. So firstly, you asked me if my favorite color was red. My favorite color is not necessarily red. I did point out that I'm not like Friedman Freeze. I don't have all my games covered in red, but it's all because 2015, I went out to UK Games Expo. I had a bunch of red things that I had bought from a charity shop. I was thinking, okay, how can I make myself more visible? Make sure that if someone wants to pick up their game, they can find me. Hey, I have some red shorts. I have a red shirt. I will wear these things and then I will go there and wear red. So that's in the Kickstarter. I will say, if you want to find me, I will be wearing red. And hopefully no one would be wearing quite as much red as me. Now, someone came over and said, wow, you said you'd be wearing red. I thought you might have like a red shirt, but oh my gosh, you're wearing red top and bottom. And just this simple thing, like the fact that it was top and bottom, and I guess it wasn't just a tracksuit. By the end of UK Games Expo 2015, a bunch of people, apparently word had spread. Someone came over and said, oh, I heard there was someone dressed all in red, and here you are. Yeah. Apparently, just having these red shorts and the red shirts was apparently enough. And then when I was planning to go to Essen Spiel in 2015, which didn't quite pan out for personal reasons, I think I went for the first time in 2016, but I was like, okay, am I going to wear red? This feels like something that will bring people in. I discussed it with a few folk. Someone said, oh, I don't know, it might turn people away. And then Rob Harris suggested, you know, everyone's got their gimmick. And then it was another friend, I can't remember, but this Jennifer, surname is now changed, but Symington Wits is what I felt like there. I think it's just Jennifer Symington, because anyway. So my friend Jennifer Symington, a lovely marketer, but doesn't work in the board game industry, works for industries where you're making far more money, said to me, well, frankly, if you go to Spiel, there's more risk of people ignoring you rather than turning people off. There's so many people, don't worry about turning people off, just make sure that you aren't ignored. So if you want to wear red, if that's your gimmick, go for it. And so that became more and more of a thing. So now when I'm at a convention, I've got the red tablecloths, I've got the red banners, I've got everyone who works for me has to wear red top. Bottom is optional, but if your bottom isn't red, it has to be black or white. That's the rule.
What is bottom? What is bottom?
You know what you're wearing on your bottom half. So like your trousers, your skirts, your...
okay. Mm-hmm.
If you're wearing a dress, the dress might be top and bottom. But most clothes are like either the top half or the bottom half. But yeah, it's... And if people don't have enough red stuff, I just give them red stuff. So now it's become a thing where for a while I was going round and I was just picking up all the red things, and I was going to charity shops, buying all the red clothes and buying all the red leggings and whatnots. And so, yeah, that is it. So, yeah, Alex says it's good for personal branding, but terrible for matadoring. That is 100% probably true. Maybe. I hear that it's not actually the red that attracts the bulls. I hear that it's actually the movement, the waving of the cloth that attracts the bulls. True story. But, yeah, that was the red thing. What was the other questionably quick question that we had before we started? I remember we were going to talk about how the playtest went, which I guess will be the main topic.
Yeah.
Was there anything else? I feel
Yes,
if no one else.
I thought the when the younger people, how they think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were talking about social media. What social media is? Fishmoo says any color is terrible for matadoring. Matadoring is the problem. And Alex asks, aren't bulls colorblind or is that dogs? It might be both. But yeah, we were talking about social media. We were talking about the fact that Rita is not on Twitter. I am not so big on Instagram and yeah, Facebook like Rita is. I don't do the stories generally. Like today was the first time, and I'm curious to know, are you on all the social medias? Like, are you on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and what else is there? But
Snapchat, but it's
Snapchat feels like it's more for Snapchat's really not a social media to my mind. It's not like applicable for board game as far as I know.
It was until it's going down.
I mean, yeah, it's a weird one, but are you part of those ones? I'm interested to know about the people in the comments. Which ones are you part of? Because I've personally chosen, I guess, to focus a wee bit more on Twitter, but then I don't have the stories on the Instagram, and it's like you can only do so much. And Rita was saying something. Tell us what you were saying.
Okay, so I said to Bess that I'm glad I'm not a child in this at this time, because what I see is that there are overwhelmed with so many medias, like all the apps, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also Amazon Prime and television and YouTube. YouTube is a big thing, and they have so many things to watch and to look, so that there are not have the time and not have the thing to watch very long. And you can see that in every things, and that they are going to be smaller and smaller. So it's very interesting that the music is going shorter, because young people can't even listen to such long music songs and everything else. So it's also for seeing serious TV shows or series. You watch them and then it's over. So it's like consuming very fast and then it's away.
No, I definitely feel this, and so I'm willing to publicly state that I've bought my tickets to head back down to London. I'm heading back on the 23rd. Yep, in 9. So I've got 8 more full days of being here, and then you'll probably see a change in the scenery. But whilst I'm here, I wanted to make sure that I'm connecting with the parents, that I'm, whether that means playing games. There's a lot of love. If I say, hey, can we play this, then even though it might not be their favorite game, they will agree to play it. And even though I've got to judge very carefully how many new games I expose them to, I can't say, hey, would you be willing to playtest this and playtest this? Like, I mean, with Chris and McCall, we might play 4, 5, even 6 new games in a night, just going over there for like 5 o'clock, and then we hang out for a few hours, we have dinner, and we play maybe 5, 6 quick games, and we learn all of them, and we play some of them twice. And this is only if they're very quick games, of course, but it's, there's not an obstacle in terms of learning things. But I want to connect and I want to read the books, but then there's the draw in social media, there's the draw in all of these things pulling me back in. And I think it's very important to say, okay, I am going to stop this. For example, I'm not going to name names, but there's someone who I had to mute the Facebook thing because I'm maybe I'm doing something for someone and then are contacting me and I feel pressure to reply instantly. I actually quite like those Facebook messages coming through. I get alerts from them, but I've got alerts for Twitter turned off. I don't get alerts for that. I don't get alerts for Instagram. The only thing I get alerts for is if you WhatsApp me, or which means you must have my phone number, which means that you're not just, or if you Facebook message me, then I get alerts for most people. But there are definitely a few WhatsApp groups that I've turned off, a few Facebook groups that I've turned the chat groups that I've turned the notifications off, because I can go there myself. If I will check it more than once a day, let's be honest. And if I see it on my phone, there's the compulsion to see that right now. And doing wee TikTok dances, Fishmoo mentions, I don't think that's an issue. I don't think, but I feel it in podcasting. I listen to podcasts and I'm listening to things on double speed. That's my default now. If I'm listening to it on less than 1.5 speed, I'm like, okay, it's because I'm trying to fall asleep, having something to listen to while I fall asleep, and I'll put a little timer so it turns off in maybe half an hour. So while I'm asleep, it will turn off, and the next morning I will rewind and I'll listen to it again maybe. But while I'm walking around, I'm just listening to it quickly, and it almost feels like I have to enjoy this, because there's almost this whole sense, the fear of missing out. Like you have to watch all these things and it's not great. And so you have to say, yeah, you know what? I am going to spend an entire evening reading Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass. I'm going to spend an entire evening doing that. I'm going to spend an entire evening on one book. I'm not going to just plow through everything. I'm going to really consider what Scott McCloud has to say. I'm laughing because Scott McCloud is probably the new Mark Rosewater, where people say, oh, Bez, you mention Scott McCloud quite often. Or, you know what I mean? Like reading things and just absorbing it and enjoying it.
Yeah, for me, so it's also big pressure to, I always want to be very good informed of all the new board games and so on. And I mostly watch YouTube. I do not follow podcasts, so because I have totally enough to watch with YouTube. So what I do is if I open YouTube and there's a new video, I make a screenshot so that I remember. For me, I have to watch that later. So this is very weird. Yeah. And yeah, it's so much to watch, to hear, to see, and yeah, but that's the things we are having with the internet. It's not only that positive, it's also negative.
I feel like the big skill for the new century is about selection, about self-curation. Do you know what I mean? About being okay with not seeing something, about reducing that anxiety somehow. I don't know what's the best way to do that. But yeah, exactly. There is so much stuff out there. And there's never going to be another thing like the Beatles, not just because the Beatles were awesome. I'm not denying that, because when you look at the difference between Love, Love Me Do and then something that's raucous punk, like Helter Skelter, and when you've got, there's definitely a variety in there. But for sure, you know, when I think of Ravel's Bolero, taking the time over 13 minutes to slowly build up, and there's something wonderful about that music, especially if you just sit back and let yourself really analyze every note and how that song develops. There's so much good stuff. For lots of love, Fishmoo. Go and enjoy your first day at your local friendly local gaming store. Because for those who don't know, I believe that in England, they were allowed to be open for the first time on Monday, whereas in Scotland, until the 26th, nothing is changing. Alex has a large watch later playlist and about 100 queued podcasts. And for me, I feel like podcasts, I feel like, okay, I am at least able to walk and maybe do some exercise while I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
Whereas YouTube, if I'm watching a review, again, I will watch it very quickly, but if it's something longer, like I saw the interview with you and Aza from Lucky Duck Games. What's their name? Aza?
Ace.
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 So Ace, and then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to watch that later, but I'm going to watch it maybe while I can do some sort of hula hooping or something at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Because and there's something good in that. There's some. I'm not going to say there's not something good that I'm okay if I can exercise and listen to the interview at the same time, and then it will be fun to hear you. But there's just so much stuff, and that's the thing. I have to be okay, and time is the biggest thing you can give. So definitely, thank you. I normally don't show this banner until later, but thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving the time. Thank you for being part of the community. It is very much appreciated.
Yeah. And what do we need in this time where we have so much stuff? We really need another board game. And that's why we're here.
So yeah, something that can help us maybe disconnect and try and get us away from the digital screen and saying, hey, now is the time to just spend time together. And okay, we're going to spend time around this table. Let's get rid of those general devices. Okay, exercising and watching YouTube together is a good idea. And Dutch Should says, focus. Okay, so let's talk about... Yeah, we can keep commenting, asking questions, thumbing, liking, following. That's all good. We are going to be game making with Rita Modl, who is here, and Tiz Creel, who is not here. But we are going to be playtesting, pondering, discussing, and designing.
Bess is also calling me Tiz, so she's also here.
So yes, talking about board games. Let's talk about what this board game is. And I think I just uploaded version 4 to the Discord. So please check out the Discord if you want to play along. If you don't, and you're working or whatever, I totally understand, because we were just talking about multitasking. I have a working printer now, and I've got...
Ooh, nice!
But, yeah, do you want to firstly, let's talk about what we did last time. Let's talk about what I suggested as changes. Let's talk about my playtests, and then let's talk about your playtest, which is going to be information for me. And then we'll discuss what we want to do going forward, and we might have another playtest.
Okay, so last time we said that that we changed the sheet, and that we changed the bubbles, and here the line for the curry one. And I think this was very good. So I keep taking these. And in the last time, it's all about how we get points. I think this is the big thing.
Yeah, last time there were some, because we talked about how it's the most gets this, the second most gets this, the third most gets this. How does this work for 2 players? How does it work for 10 players? Should there be a difference? Should you be comparing it? I think Alex mentioned maybe you get a bonus for having this many, but then you also get another bonus if you have the most out of everyone, which was very interesting, because comparing the most and then the second most and then the third most, if you have too many people, that's a lot to calculate. And that was a concern of mine. Whereas just saying, okay, the most. Another possibility was doing it in a style similar to Seven Wonders or Welcome to Dino World, where you're facing off against your left neighbor, you're facing against your right neighbor. And, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. And last time we had 5 dinosaurs. So let me
yes.
just tell you the short rules. So we have here 8 dice, and these are ingredients for our pies. So we have 2 curry one, we have 3 meat one, we have 2 veggie one, and 1 blue one. It's a fish one. And we roll the dice. And with our cards, there are little dinosaurs on it, which can take different dice. We collect the dice. So everybody has.
So the color determines what you draw. So blue means you draw a fish. But if you want the blue, then one time, if it's a 6, you will have to use a big dinosaur or an even dinosaur. Whereas if it's a 1, then you would have to use the odd dinosaur or the small dinosaur, because the odd takes the odd numbers and so forth.
So the numbers on the dice are only important for the dinosaurs. What you draw in your pie, so every die is 1 ingredient. Yeah? So it's not 2 because there's 2 and it's only 1 ingredient. Yeah. So what should I say? What's your testing? What you tested?
I'll talk about what I tested, and then you can talk about what you tested.
Okay, so start.
Because we've not had this conversation between ourselves, so the conversation of what you tested is going to be new to me. So, just to catch up to viewers, I tried out some simplifications of the scoring. I did, unfortunately, I was only able to play 2 players. So I played 3 games with one of my parents. And what I found was that for this parent, having the different dinosaur, it was a bit confusing. The parent was, again, maybe that's okay. Maybe we just say, okay, that's not within the target audience. Some people it's actually not going to be a family game. But for the amount that was going on in the game, saying, okay, different dinosaurs, so can I take all the... almost, well, like the game lasts maybe 3 rounds. Like you only play any given card maybe 3 times during the game. But every time that card was being played, the questions were, okay, how does this work? And
okay.
That was
I see.
Does it work with just the 4 dinosaurs? Because Tiz and Rita had designed the big dinosaur and the small dinosaur, which is so obvious in retrospect. But then I was thinking, okay, we've got the big, small, odd, and even, which work exactly the same way. When you play one of these, you can choose all of the dice. You don't have to choose all of them. You can leave some behind, but you can choose possibly all of the dice that match that criteria. And the difference, it's not complicated for me. It's not complicated for you, but it was, does it work without that? And then we played 2 more games without that feature. And I was like, you know what? It's still interesting. There are still decisions to be made. And then I thought, okay, especially in a world where you're being benefited by making something different, I hoped that it would be okay. I felt it was definitely worth testing to see if it is good enough. The second thing that I suggested was inspired by Welcome to Dino World, which I did a bit of work on, and 7 Wonders, which I have nothing to do with, but in retrospect, maybe Welcome to Dino World was subconsciously inspired by 7 Wonders. I don't know. Like I was in the room when it happened, but it's just we cannot know what subconsciously inspires us. Do you know what I mean? But I can definitely look back and say, oh yeah, I was aware of that, and it was myself. And anyway, I did kind of do lots of the work on the visitor cards. Anyway, so the point is, inspired by that, I was like, okay, let's say not are you beating your left neighbor, are you beating your right neighbor, but for each person, are you beating both of your neighbors? This is the bonus. Plus, if you've got this many, this is the bonus. And for if you've got this many, I basically looked at the 6 sheets that I had, myself and the parents, over 3 games, and looked at which number would maybe not allow one of these at least, but would allow most of these. So in theory, the lower number is meant to be fairly easy to achieve, but then having the most compared to your 2 neighbors, okay, that's the thing that you need to be a little bit more precious about. That was my intention, but I didn't quite manage. I never got to play it in a big group, and so I'm really interested to hear, having told Rita these are the numbers that I would suggest you go for, how did it work in a 5-player game?
Okay, so I have to say I play tested all the changes you said. So I had to draw new cards, and we had to play it over the camera. So and we were 6 person.
Okay.
We played it with 6 person, and let me just tell you how we play. Because we always have to compare with our neighbors. We draw a circle. And then we wrote the names on it so that everybody can see who's the neighbor. Okay. And I do all the stuff. So we only had 4 dinosaurs, and we had the other points. And okay, let me just start. So we started, and playing and what also difference, if you don't play the same card with one of your neighbors, you get 1 ingredient for free, and you can put them in any pile you want, not in the same.
If you play a different card to both of your neighbors.
Yeah. So first thing, playing the dinosaurs with your neighbors was okay, because we showed them in the camera, and this works fine. But we only had 4 cards, and it was very obvious what's the best choice. So I would say either we take the different back to our hand, or we find another dinosaur which is more easier, but I think it needs 5 dinosaurs. Yeah. Okay. The other thing we changed, that you can put the ingredient, if the free ingredient, when you don't play the same card, and put it in any pie, was great. So I would go with that. Yeah. So the game was okay, but we had 10 minutes to count, and this was so weird, because, and I think it's the same when you play it in real, because it's not you comparing it with one neighbor. You comparing it with 2 neighbors, but the other player also comparing it with the other, and with me. And so this was so, what do you have? What do you have? What do you have? And this was so confusing. This was really not good. And 2 of them just stopped counting, because they even, what are we? What's going on here? So this was this was very full and too much. So my ideas are, so we say, okay, with 2 to 4 players, we compare it with everybody. And maybe if you play it with 5 or more players, because you can play it with 5 or more players, you only compare it with 1 person, and then you compare it with
the person to your right.
You compare it with 1 person, the person to your right, and then you compare it with the winner of everything. So it's much easier to first time you compare with 1 person, because they can look at each other things, and they said, okay, I have this, I have this, I have this. Yeah. And then you have a winner of those 2 people, and then they compare it with the winners of the other teams. So it's like playing in a team with someone, and only comparing with one, and then comparing with the other. So it could be that you are very good in one thing, but the other is more good and then you lose, even you are better than one of the other players. So this could be very interesting. I don't know. I couldn't test it. But I think it's if you say okay from 5 to 5 is maybe not good.
I
So
feel like I'm not keen on making an exception for. Okay, for 2 players, it's different because 2 players, when you compare it with 3 players, you have this triangle essentially, so you can still compare with your 2 neighbors. You can still follow the same rules. I feel like okay, 2 players, there can be a slight variation, but with 3, 4, 5, it should still be the same as playing with 6, because we want it's that seems like the ideal. It seems like the ideal situation is to have as many player counts be one single set of rules. It might be that this is impossible. I'm not, it might be that that's impossible, but if a system doesn't work for 4 players, then I feel like it probably won't work for 8 players. Do you know what I mean?
So what we didn't try, we didn't try to use the normal counting and playing with 5, 6, 7 players. Yeah. What I can say that comparing with your with right and left neighbor is too many overloaded at the end and takes too much time. And which was also very complicated was we had the rule that if you finish the first pie, you get points, or finish the second pie. And this was also very complicated because one said, I finished the first pie, and now you have to look, is this my neighbor? Oh, now I have to go with the other neighbor. So this was also very...
But checking who's your neighbor, that's not going to be an issue in real life.
Yes, but it's not only checking with your neighbor, it's checking with 2 neighbors, and they are also why you are talking to one neighbor. You want to talk to one neighbor, but he's also busy with the other neighbor. That's the problem.
And hello, Michael. It's lovely to see you this morning.
So it's not. It would be easier if you only compared with one person in a bigger group.
Taken. I mean, for sure, I'm not denying that this might be completely wrong. I'm not against changing it. I just want to acknowledge that in real life, it would be much easier, because if I've got this sheet in front of me and I'm comparing it to my right neighbor and my left neighbor is like, oh, can I see it? They can both look at it. Do you know what I mean? It's on the table. And
yes, but you're not only looking at the other, so you have to look at both, and there also have to look at, and for such a short game, so it's not complicated, because they said it should be a short game, and for this short game, this is too complicated, too much talking, too much asking for such a short game.
No, that's fair.
That's what's the problem.
Like it's like with 7-1. I mean, the reasons that with Welcome to Dino World, the reason that we had comparing it to the right and comparing it to the left was because, I don't know if you've played this game, but every pair of people gets 1 difficult card, 1 medium difficulty card, and 1 easy card, and it's like a race. Do you know what I mean? So it's a race between that neighbor to do these 3 cards. It's a race with that neighbor to do these 3 cards. So because each set of cards is between 2 people, it's naturally going to be those 2 people who are comparing. And with 7 Wonders, obviously, this is just hypothesis, because this is a game I've played, but I've never even spoken to Antoine Bowser or anyone who was involved in that game, I don't think, about anything, let alone 7 Wonders. But it feels very thematic because it's all about military. So it's like, okay, do I beat you? Okay, I gain some points. Do I beat you? I gain some points. But yeah, in this game, it is just, this is an interesting idea, just beating the person to the right. Alex asks, are there always leftover dice? I mean, you might be misunderstanding the nature of the game, because it's not like people select dice and keep them for themselves. Multiple people are allowed to use the same dice.
I have to go to toilet.
Okay, that's fair. So, Alex, I don't know if that answers the question. Yeah, there might be some dice that literally no one has used, but that's going to be a difficult thing to determine, because one person uses odd. If at least one person uses even, then okay, everything's... Anyway, as Rita says, honestly, on a roll of the dice, it's probably kind of obvious what to use, which is definitely a problem with the difference. I am just pondering at this point what happens if we are like, okay, comparing it to the right neighbor. So you need to beat your right neighbor, but your left neighbor needs to beat you. So you don't care about your left neighbor unless you're blocking them. Like, how would that feel? Would that be complicated? I feel like this is something that we have to test with, ideally, with people who aren't really gamers. And again, maybe this is something that I can talk to... Yeah, maybe I can relatively easily talk my family into trying out. It feels like I'm probably unlikely to get more non-gamery people who are. And hello, bonjour, Mike de Grief. It is lovely to see you. So while you were heading off, Rita, I was just talking about the nature of trying to beat the person to your right, and you don't care about the person to your left unless you're trying to block them. But the person to your left is trying to beat you, because that might be, yeah, sort of interesting. And Alex, it's not about what do we score, it's about who do we compare our scores to. That's the key question, I think, that we've got to determine at this point. What if that makes sense? So, yeah, and I was actually just saying that quite possibly this is a game that, you know, now that we've gotten back, let's both of us try to talk through what we think might be a reasonable next thing. What do you think of doing the Seven Wonders method of, if you beat your right, okay, your right neighbor, okay, you get a point here. Your left neighbor, okay, you get a point here. And so it's not, are you better than them and them? It's just, are you better than them? Get some points. Better than left, to get some points. Do you think the Seven Wonders method would be a way to simplify it, or would that still be too tricky?
I think for this short game, it could be too tricky.
So are you suggesting that, so shall we try out, it feels like you want to give some time to exploring the nature of comparing to your right. I mean, it could be comparing to your left, but we've just arbitrarily chosen. And Alex says, do you need to compare to a player at the end? Can you just compare to some arbitrary goal that's been set by the dice, that's been set by some predetermined cards? That's what Alex is asking. Maybe there's some communal goal. Maybe there's some other way of determining some...
Yeah. I think it would be much easier if you compared with everybody.
I think comparing with everybody and trying to be first, I don't have an issue with that. What I have an issue with is comparing with everybody and then getting points for first and second and third. That's my... Because, yeah, as you get more people, it's just more difficult to remember, okay, who was actually first and second? Because even with 3 people, I remember us struggling with you and me and Tiz to say, okay,
yeah, I see. What is Player crafted goal? What is this? What is
A player crafted goal. So Alex is talking about harvest dice, where in harvest dice you've got some dice that are left, and then, or maybe in the middle of the game, everyone says, okay, we increase the goal by 1. Michael says, choose a random player at the beginning and compare with them, and only them. That gives you maximum chaos.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to lower the chaos. I mean, it's kind of weird because in a game called Dinosaurs Love Spicy Pies, I mean, it's dinosaurs, it's spiciness. Yeah, you'd think we would want chaos. But hello, CD. It is lovely to see you. I hope that you're having a good evening. Now we are truly international. Now we are not just in Europe. Because CD's all the way over from New Zealand. Well, near Wellington, I believe. One of the organisers of WellyCon. Actually, let me give a shout. Yeah, I'll do it. Shout out to CD on board. Lovely individual. And Michael, you know that's not true. But yeah, back to the game that
okay. So if everybody compares to his right player, yeah? Then I have some points, and then
that's it. So you compare all 7 of. I wonder.
Isn't that so? If I compare with my right player, and then all the winners of this section are comparing with each other the points.
No, I don't think you need a second tier. I think it's just like, let's say the fishy pie, because that's what's on top on the first thing of the list. It's like, okay, let's say we've got people organized in roughly alphabetical order. So let's say there's Alex, and then there's Bez, and then there's CD, and then there's Dina, and then Ellie, and then Flavian, and then, you know, all the way up to Rita. You're to the left of me. Okay, I don't know how many letters that is, but there's that many letters. We're all a big player group. We've got like R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So I guess we've got 18 players. It's an 18-player game, right? So it goes from Alex all the way up to Rita. Now, yeah, Alex calculated that quickly. So what that means is that Alex will need to beat me, and I will need to beat CD. So let's say with fish, if Alex has 3 fish and I have 4 fish, then Alex gets a point. Or maybe it's 2 points for fish, because for fish you should get a bit more. Alex beats me and gets, let's go crazy, maybe it's 3 points, I don't know. Maybe Alex beats me, Alex gets 3 points. Then I compare to CD. CD only has 1 point, 1 fish. I don't know what CD was doing. Sorry, CD, in this hypothetical example. And so I get my 3 points. And then CD and Dina both only have 1 fish. I don't know what's going on there. And it's a tie. So maybe ties are friendly? Or should they be on? Anyway, but assuming friendly ties, CD gets a point there. Then Dina compares to
I see.
Ellie, and Ellie has 4 pies, so Dina doesn't get any points.
So actually you playing with a lot of players, but it's actually a 2-player game. So if you reduce it,
yes.
Okay, but this could work. So if not 2 players are comparing each other, so you compare it always to your right neighbor. This could be very interesting.
I thought that was what you were proposing. I thought that was what you were saying.
What?
Because that's what I thought you were saying earlier on. That's what I thought was your suggestion. So did I completely completely misunderstood your...
Yes,
okay.
But this was good because maybe we have a solution.
Well, great. In that case, a misunderstanding, bro. It's okay. And CD, apparently, CD and Dina are preserving the ocean, so CD and Dina didn't get so many fish. Good for you. And Alex asks, what if one player is very bad at the game? Well, if they're very bad at the game, the player to their left is going to get points more easily. And yes, there is a benefit to being on the left of the player who is bad. Yeah, exactly. I think it's okay. What do you think, Rita?
Yeah, it's okay. So maybe first time you lose and then you change places and then you play again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay. And maybe for the second game, this is just an idea, but if you want to make it, I'm wondering if you actually this doesn't work because then you've got the wraparound. I'm trying to work out if there's a way to work out seating order.
Yeah.
So if like you wanted to play a serious game so that the people who are better are only next to each other. But I think you'd have to have the best person here and then the 2 second best beside them and then the fourth and fifth like that and then the worst kind of over here. That seems very complicated to define. Like you could make some tournament rules if you wanted, but I don't think that should be in the rule sheet. I think it should just be if you're unhappy with where you were, then second game you compare to the left. Easy as that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So maybe we have a solution. So compare with your right neighbor. Yeah. And I'm also struggling a little bit with your I don't know. I didn't. So wait, the question is for points. Do we use the first one gets points, and then if you have 3 or more, you also get points, or do we take the old one?
Well, that was the point. So with the points, I was just expecting you to go with the compared to your neighbor and the target. Did you use the old cards as well?
No, we only used the new cards.
Okay, good.
And what had a big problem was this card for the curry.
Let me hold on. Make you bigger.
Because
no, that doesn't help. Most is 3 points.
And then 10 plus and most and 20 plus. This was.
I don't understand what you've written here. Can you explain it?
Yeah. For the first pie, if you have the most amount, you get 3 points, and you have the amount of 10 or more, you get 4 points.
Bless you.
Thank you. And for the second pie, if you have the most amount, you get 3 points. If you have 20 amount or more, you get 4 points. And for the second most, get 3 points. And if you have 25 or more, you're getting yeah. And this was too much. This was way too much for.
Why was this complicated? Why was this more complicated than the number of fish? Because you need to calculate the spiciness anyway.
Yes, but on the other cards, it was always the same. Also with the same numbers. Yeah.
Show me. Show us. Remind us. Remind me and tell everyone else.
So always getting for most points and having 3 or more ingredients, getting these points. But with this card, there were other figures here, and there
was like 10, 20, and 25.
Yeah, what is this now? What? Huh? And this was so far. I mean, it's not that complicated, but it should be a very easy and short game. So for this easy and short game, it's too complicated.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Alex says, bless you as well. And CD comments that your sneeze is very cute.
Yes, this is. I actually wanted to do a mobile phone ring with my sneeze. Yeah. I'm well known for my sneeze.
So, Alex, it was very much inspired by what you wrote about a general scoring. So, like, okay, there's a score for this much, but then rather than a bonus for most in terms of everyone at the table. So my issue with everyone at the table is that it becomes if we want this to be a big multiplayer game, let's say we even want it to go to 7, which is not that unreasonable. If we want it to be a 7-player game, then if you have a prize for the spiciest little pie, then as soon as 2 other people are going for it, there's no point in trying for it really, unless you're absolutely perfect. Unless you have the 20 points, don't even bother. Whereas in a 2-player version, yeah, you just keep track of one person. And so I'm not keen on just one person getting a bonus in a 7-player game and one person getting a bonus in a 2-player game. I can't verbalize complete. I guess I'm concerned about the differing play experience. I'm concerned about if we were to do that, just a prize for the most, then with a big player counts game, it would be, yeah, most of the players might not even get any of these prizes. You might be getting one of these prizes rather than actually comparing for a few of them. And I don't know, it also feels like there's suddenly going to be so much at the table that if you're comparing with everybody, then you are going to be having to take in everything. It's going to be almost like, okay, if you don't look at everyone, it's kind of random. Did other people go for the big fishy pie or not? Did other people go for the veggie pie or not? Because if you went for something and other people didn't go for it, you're just going to win. But if you actually want to play it in the interesting way, in the strategic way of looking at everyone, then as you get more and more players, you're going to have to spend more time looking at everyone, and that's not necessarily the interesting bit. But you know what, Rita, let's... So with the spiciness of the pies, you understand why I had to do different numbers, because you can get the bigger pie to be spicier the way we calculate it. That's just the way it is. Alex says it's worth a playtest. Maybe in real life, maybe once, but I'm quite keen to try the comparing to one side with everything, but then maybe with everything else. So can you remind us of? Actually, I'm going to try and find the last email that I sent to you. Rita Modl. Yep. So I had for all the things for fish, veg, meat, and sets. You get 3 or 4 points. It's 4 points for the sets. It's 3 points for anything else for having 3 or more. Otherwise, it's for having more than your neighbors. I suggested 2, 3, or 4 points. So the number varied, which I was concerned. So it sounds like for the spiciness, having 10 or more spiciness, not having those cards easily available to compare to. I mean, it might be a simple graphic design issue, like you could write the number, but what I'm now thinking is maybe for the spiciness, especially if you're only comparing to one person, you don't have a target. You just have, is it more? Maybe we don't need a target for any of them. We just have, is it more than your right neighbor for literally everything? That could be simpler. I don't know. What do you think? If we are only comparing to one person, then do we even need...
Definitely. If we only compare it to one person, then this doesn't work because... Yeah, of course.
But I mean, but we don't need the target and the bonus for more. I feel like the bonus for the more is probably enough. What do you think?
Okay. For my playtesting groups, they said that they wish that there is another way to count points, how their pies look. So now we are wanted to grill it, and every ingredient is not going to be next to the same ingredient. And they wish that if you have a muster, a picture,
Okay.
For that you get points. So if your big pie, there is only fish in the round, so like decorating the pie. So fish is only in the outside line, then you get points. Or if the middle one is not with veggie or something like that. So they wish that that you get points for how the pies look.
So about the placements of things. So
Yes.
if you have specific arrangements of ingredients, you get a bonus.
Arrangement. The name was missing.
And CD says comparing it to one person would be very unfair. I'm not sure when you came in. Let me actually double check. Why do you think comparing it to one person? I'm talking about comparing it to the right rather than everyone compares it to one person.
So this could be very interesting, because there could be the one aim, just comparing it with your right, and then it's who has the most. Just who has the most get point. But the second, there are cards in the middle for having achievements or how they look, and then you getting also points. I don't know.
So,
or if this makes it complicated again, I don't know. So
I mean, it's definitely adding complication, but it also seems like if you're next to the whiz, you lose a lot. Yeah, so CT is saying, yeah, seating order does matter. Oh, it sounds, I can understand why you don't like that. Okay, it sounds like people have a strong emotional reaction to that. I'm curious, okay, CD's clearly got a strong emotional reaction against that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear other people's feelings if you're comparing it to the person on your right, and seat player order really matters in this way. So if the person to your right is good, then you're disadvantaged. If the person to your right is worse, then you're advantaged. Is that a big problem to your mind?
So we could also say it's a 2 to 5 player game, and then you compare with everybody. I don't know.
I mean, the alternative, it would be to say you compare these three things with the right and these three things with the left. That could be a thing.
Yes, but this is also very complicated, because then is this asking around a very messy thing is going on.
So yeah, anyone else who's watching, I'm curious about your feelings. Are you against it, or are you not bothered, or are you uncertain?
My question to the audience is it okay to having a 2 to 5 player game, which is short and where you compare it with everybody else, even if it's possible that you could play it with more players? So this is my question.
I mean, for sure, like 2 to 5 players is still a very good player count. It's still quite expansive. And I don't think there's... Yeah, it's...
I know you think best, because this is a game a lot of people could play, but with the counting problem, maybe we should reduce to 2 to 5 players. So this could be
And then
more
what?
easier.
Do we say first place, second place, and a target? Or maybe first place and a target?
Yeah.
It could be. Maybe first place and a target. Alex says, when I play, I usually prefer to count my accomplishments in isolation. In most games, comparison with the other players is only a small part in games that I enjoy. And that's true, because there is definitely a negative aspect to that ranking. And you can, for the person who's losing, I can imagine that feeling quite unfair. So maybe it is inherently flawed.
Okay, maybe we find a pointing system where you count points in isolation, and this is maybe I don't know, for fish you're getting your 1 pie, and the fish is every fish you're making two. Maybe you have 3 fish in 1 pie. You make 3 my 4. It's 12. I don't know the English word.
3 my 4. It's 12. Multiplied by 3 times.
Multiplied.
4.
Thank you. Multiplied. So every ingredient has another multiplied amount. So that you count in isolation, and then you say, I have the points.
So what we're suggesting is that we're turning this into a true multiplayer solitaire.
This would be a true multiplayer solitaire, unless it's not real solitaire, because you're having the dinosaurs where you get 1 ingredient for free. So it's not whole isolation. So maybe for the dinosaur, you only compare it with your right neighbor. This is what you do, because if you don't play the same dinosaur, then you get 1 ingredient for free. But for the counting, you make it in isolation, and then you say, I have these points.
Do you think that... So, yeah, Alex, I appreciate you acknowledging that not every game should be for you, but I think that upon further reflection, I do understand that there could be some child that's kind of feeling, oh, the only reason I won is because I'm beside my sibling. Like, maybe, okay, my older sister is just better than games. And if I'd been beside my mom, then I would have scored my points. I don't know. You know what I mean? And so then you get, it doesn't feel good. It feels very combative. And that...
But this could be a solution.
But CD suggests some left, some right, some on your own. I think I agree with Rita that some left, some right feels a bit too messy. But I do like the idea of, I mean, what you say of, okay, so everything is multiplayer solitaire except the comparison with the person to your right.
Yeah. With the dinosaurs.
Yes, mid game, I had printed them downstairs, but then I came up and was like, oh, whoops, I didn't program it. Anyway, so with the dinosaurs, with 4 dinosaurs, we were talking about whether we need 4 or 5 or some other number. If we are comparing to 1 person rather than 2 people, do you think you will ever get something different? And there is also the question of, then with the comparison of the dinosaur, should it again just be to your right neighbor, or should it be to both your neighbors? And because let's say I want to take a suboptimal dinosaur to get the bonus.
Yeah.
That means that if the person to my right, if I say, okay, odd is best, but big is also almost as good, I'm going to choose big, and that means that I get the bonus wild card.
I'm sorry, I have to open the door. My dog farted again. It's what?
Wow. Strong insights into what's going on in the Modl house. So,
as I said when we tested it online, what did not make problems was showing your dinosaur and see what they played and getting the free ingredient. This was not a problem because you can see it. So this could work, that we not only compared with our right neighbor, we compared with our left and right neighbor. This could work, yes.
Okay, because that feels like it's slightly more fair, because
yes, that's good.
In a free or more player game, you are not giving the bonus also to your left person. So the question is, do we need more than 4?
We played the same dinosaurs very often because it was very obvious.
And the bonus of getting the wild card wasn't enough. In that case, should the bonus be 2 wild cards?
Ooh.
What if the bonus for playing a different dinosaur was 2 bonus spaces of your choice? That's pretty strong. Is it too strong? I don't know.
Yeah. No. What the other thing was, we after we playtested, we talked about the game in whole, and they said the particularity of the game, the special thing of the game is taking the dice with the cards, and they said maybe we should have one more card. That's what they said, and I didn't told them that we had 5 cards before,
and I had suggested removing one. Yeah. So you're like, you know what? This game would be much better if it had a 5th card. Have you considered that? So,
yeah. So, maybe so if the different card is too complicated, maybe we find another. But the different card is very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It might be that that's just maybe having the 4 cards isn't the real version. It's like a simplified version. It says, like, if you're playing for the first time, you don't need to use all 5 cards. If you're something like that, I don't know.
Yes, it could work.
So if you're playing for the first time, don't bother using all 5 cards. And then next time you play, the players already understand that the way the game goes.
That could be a solution, yes.
And actually, I have to admit, in the after the 3rd game, I asked my parents, so what did you think about only having 4 cards? And they said similar, that, oh, it was maybe slightly better with the 5 cards, but it was, and I felt it was better with the 5 cards, but the problem was that they kept asking all these questions.
Yes. Okay, then we have another solution. Woohoo!
So, I mean, looking at legacy games, I do believe that let's use things from My City and whatnot, and let's not overload everyone with necessarily all the rules in game 1. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of games present, hey, this is an in-the-box expansion, because it's kind of like the full game, but we really want you to learn it in bits and pieces. And I think that could be a strong system. And then
maybe there's a 6th card. But only if you had played the cards before.
Yeah, like there's maybe in the instructions it says, okay, here's like a campaign of different schemes, and you bring in different cards and you add different rules. So So far, what we've decided is that, okay, for game number 1, maybe use 4 dinosaurs, but for game number 2, 3, 4, and onwards, you probably want to use 5 dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You comparing the dinosaur plate.
What is a trader? What is this? Tell me, what is it?
You know the resistance. You know werewolf.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Alex is just being ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, that's yeah, sure, whatever. It's traitor is that correct? Verita.
Verita.
Okay, anyway. 4 more dinosaurs. So we've decided that we are going to make this a game for low player counts. I think we need to focus on the 3 to 5 player game.
What?
I said 3. We need to focus on the 3 to 5 player game. And it will be quite easy to make a 2-player variant, but
so maybe it depends on the how we count points.
Oh yes. Oh, because you were talking about, okay, instead of having points for most or points for second most or points for a target, we say fishiest. It is, for example, 2 points per fish. That seems like quite a lot. The only problem with doing that is that you can't have the granularity. You can't say, if you say 4 points per fish, that's a lot to multiply. If you say, and how do you do the spiciness? It feels like the spiciness, you have to compare it to your neighbor. I don't know if you agree. I feel like the spiciness has to be against the target or your neighbor. And with everything else, with it only being 1 point per ingredient or 2 points per ingredient, that doesn't seem great. Because
I would multiply. I would make a multiply. And if you have, so for the meat, maybe, you multiply with 2.
Okay.
For the veggie, you multiply with 3. And for the fish, you multiply with 4, which is a lot. But for the sets, you multiply with 5. I don't know. And for the curry, you multiply your amount with 2. multiply with 2. I don't know.
That's going to be a lot. Curry, because you can get 50 something in the last one. Yeah. That's going to mean that curry will be the only thing that matters.
Okay, then we count curry with...
I mean, the curry could be ×1, but it feels like then, at that point, the smallest and the medium, the curry doesn't really matter, because the points for the small and medium, unless you're actually comparing them, or if you're just doing how many you got in here, then the small and the medium ones are almost irrelevant.
I would say if you the other thing is if you compare, if you complete a pie, you get also points. So for if the first who completes the small and the middle one, this should be still exist, maybe.
Ooh. You know what? So CD has a couple of ideas. Firstly, I'm not sure what CD meant here. Pair curry with your lowest or highest. I'm not 100% sure what you mean, but I'm really excited by this one. So what this makes me think is maybe you're not scoring fish at all. Maybe you only score curried fish, and then you score curried meat, and then you score curried veg, and then you score the curried mixture. if that makes sense.
Okay. It
Which
could be
is
very
a big
easy.
change, but that seems really interesting.
It could be very easy. So it's everything. It's the same.
And then I think this could actually be the way. Yeah, I really like this idea. I don't know how you feel. Do you feel like this is against the principle of the game? I feel like it simplifies it. It makes it more focused about the curry. Is this an actual song? Curry, curry, Uber Alice, or however. I don't know if this is a. Curry, curry, Uber Alice. Is this a song, or is this just Yoda trying to get me to sing random words?
I think it's a song, but I'm not sure. So you pick one. So it's always you pick one pie, and then you multiply curry with meat.
Yep.
And then you put in the same pie or another pie, and then you multiply curry with veggie, and then multiply curry with meat.
Fish. Meat, veg, and fish.
Yeah, meat, veg, and fish.
And then for the last one, you do it multiplied by the sets.
Yeah, multiply with the sets.
Okay, Yoda says that it's a riff off Deutschland.
Yeah. Oh man. Curry. Yeah, but then there are only three.
We've
3
got
points. Only 3 points.
But if you just but those points have a lot of variability, and we can do the sets. So Alex has an idea. I just want to acknowledge this. Could there be a way to skip a turn to add bonus scoring? For example, maybe one turn you don't play a dinosaur, you don't take anything, and you add stuff. That seems like a decision. It could be. I mean, I'm not sure, but it's not sparking any excitement in my mind.
They also should you also should get points for finishing the small pie and the small pie and the middle pie, and then you also
why not the big pie? If we're comparing everything, why not the big pie? Because now completing the big pie feels like you have sacrificed something. If I am trying to make the big pie all of these are now trying to be perfect. So it feels like going for the big pie first is not necessarily the great thing that it was previously. I'm not sure whether they should be worth different number of points. I almost feel like, well, I guess it gives you an idea for what to do, which might be good for the game, but maybe as 5 points for each. The smaller the pie, the bigger the points, reckons Alex. Why?
Yeah. But
why?
So because you in this, when we multiply with one ingredient, you always
the maximum is 20.
You always have to
times 4.
You try to put all in the big pie.
Yes, but you need to make all of them good.
So, but I have when I think about it. So, in this case, if we do curry multiply with fish, curry multiply with meat, curry multiply with veggie and sets, meat is very strong. So that the reason what we try to do, that there is only one fish, and if you have a lot of fish, you're getting more points than having the meat.
And firstly, I just want to remind everyone to keep this, a family-friendly thing. Don't be swearing in the comments. I just timed out a couple of people on YouTube for 5 minutes, and just remember to keep this a family-friendly thing. But CD, lots of love and enjoy your sleep, and I hope you have a wonderful night and a great day tomorrow. I do really like... So I might have missed the last 30 seconds of what was said there. I feel like I like the simplification of these points. So before, we essentially had 7 items to compete for, arguably 9. So we had the fishiest, the veggiest, the meatiest, the most balanced, the spicy little, spicy medium, spicy big, and all 7 of them at the end of the game. So if we say spicy fish, spicy veg, spicy meat, is that enough? Maybe it's almost like spicy mixed could be like, the full game. I feel like for my parents, spicy mix might be a little bit of a brain burner, saying, okay, we need to count how many sets you have, and then multiply the number of sets. So you're multiplying the thing you have the least of with the spices. It's not that complicated. It's understandable to someone who's played board games, but it feels kind of like hey, add this rule once you've played it once or twice already. I don't know what you think. Am I underestimating our target audience?
So I'm for I like when it's very easy to count. And I think we should try curry, multiply with fish, with veggie, and so on. And getting points.
So just the 3: curry fish, curry veg, curry meat.
Yes. And then we have to, and then you get points for finishing the first pie and the second pie.
Why not the third?
Because you are trying to put every good ingredient in the big one. And if you get points for finishing that, then you will not looking at the small and the middle one.
I mean, it could be like 10, 5, and 2. It could be something that you get more points for the small one. I'm not against that necessarily. I just think we should explore having points for the big one as well. But I'm happy to try testing it with what we've decided. So it's
okay. So if we multiply curry with fish, with veggie, with meat, I think we have another counting thing that you see. The fish is now very low worth, and the meat is very strong now. So I would like to have something which shows us.
Now you're going to put the fish in the smallest one, veg in the medium one, and meat in the biggest one. That's how you're going to go.
Yes.
If you can, ideally. But then actually, this makes it more interesting, I think. I think that there is still some interesting decision here. I think let's play the two-player variant.
Okay, let me just tell you, the counting thing is that you have, for every 3 countings, you have to choose a different pie. You cannot use the same pie. This is very important, I think.
I disagree strongly.
Huh?
Because I feel like if you have, let's say you had lots of fish in the big pie and meats in the big pie, especially with the scoring right now, with the red scoring. I would honestly say let's try a 2-player game right now before we finish up.
Yeah.
Just multiplying curry with fish, curry with veg, curry with meat, and you get your... I don't know if 5 and 2 is enough, frankly, because looking at the old scores, when you're getting 54...
No, it's not. So I would say 10 and 5 points, maybe.
Yeah, 10 and 5. Yep, that might be good.
Okay,
10 and 5.
And 5.
And
okay.
I would not... And so we're only scoring... So if we play a different card to the other person... And I apologize that I've not brought my dinosaurs up, but this is E for even, O for odd, B for big, and S for small. So I'm going to show one of these. And
so we have only...
score at the end of the game, we score ourselves, but the red numbers, we score in the middle of the game, and we scored the dinosaur bonus of a wild card. We scored that in the middle of the game.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have only 4 dinosaurs. Yes, that's correct. Now.
Oh.
Or 5.
That's not as interesting. Should we try it with 4 dinosaurs? Maybe we can play twice. When do you have to finish up? Do you have an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, let's play twice. Let's play with 4 and then play with 5.
Okay. Good. I have to let my dog in because I put it outside.
Okay. So if anyone else thinks that they fancy playing along, then please do so.
Okay. So we have even, we have small, we have odd, and we have
big.
Big. So okay. Okay. Then I go up.
And let me make you big.
Okay. So this I put away.
And you can show your finger or not show your finger. It doesn't matter because we are not comparing at the end anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So I roll the die.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
4, a couple of 4s, a couple of 3s. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. So actually, everything is perfectly balanced.
Mm-hmm.
I am, going to go for this one.
So okay, I have small.
I have small as well.
Okay.
I felt like small or odd were the ones to go for.
Yeah. Okay, I have colors.
I'm just doing it in black. Actually, let me take a different pen so I'm fine rather than super fine. There we go. And some curry. Remember, it all has to go in one pie. And veg. And meat.
Okay. So I only take 2 ingredients, but okay. Okay, next.
I took 4. Maybe it's a bad... Yep. Six, 6, 5, 5.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay,
I think that is a fairly obvious one.
Yeah, I go for big.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two. A fish, a meat, and a veg. And I have finished my little pie.
Oh, okay. Okay. So next.
Sure. Ooh. One. Couple of twos, a couple of threes, a 5, and a 6. And this is the last one before we pick up everything.
Yes.
So I am going to go with this one.
Okay, take this one.
I took odd as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually going to keep a tally of how many times we play the same and how many times we play different. Just out of curiosity. Oh, by the way, well, I guess it doesn't matter, but we can talk about for 3 players. Do you think that you should be getting 2 bonuses or 1 bonus if you play differently?
1 only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a second. I need a moment to think. Definitely doing that. Do I take not everything? I am not sure. Let me do. Yeah, actually, I'm going to do these. And okay, I've only taken 4.
Okay, so I wrote that.
Ooh, lots of big ones. 666, 444.
Yeah.
Oh, and a couple of 1s and a 2.
Okay.
This one's actually quite interesting.
Definitely what to do.
I'm not so sure. But yeah, I think we're doing the same. Big.
Big.
And yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh. Are the spices both for free? Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's a no-brainer. Okay, have you already picked?
Yes.
Small.
Small.
So take both the spice and free meat. 1, 2, 3 meat. Okay.
Okay.
Final roll.
Final roll.
Oh no! Of the round before we pick up our cards.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Back and forth. Stretchy time. Now I say some words to rhyme. Oof. Wow.
Okay, I know what to do.
Is that spice a 2?
Yes.
In that case, yes, definitely.
Even.
Yep. Okay, so triple meat. 1, 2, 3. Double spice. And I could go with a fish if I want, but I'm not going to. Yep.
Okay.
Done.
Then we take the cards back.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6.
Okay, I know what to do.
I am not so sure. But yeah, I'm going to go with this one. Odd.
I have odd. Me too.
So that's 2 spice, 2 veg.
Yeah.
This is my sheet so far. Okay.
Okay.
And another roll.
What's this bullet for?
One, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 6. Ooh, interesting. Yes, I think I will go for this one.
I have even. Yeah, me too.
And I'm going to finish off this pie.
The middle one?
Yep, I have finished off the middle one.
Okay.
And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces in my big pie.
Okay. Good. Next.
So that's quite a big variety. 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. And definitely this one. Actually, wait a minute. Sorry, I have to think.
Oh, I take this one.
Oof. Small.
Me too.
Okay, so we've gone 9 times and
Yes.
always pick the same thing. Couple of veg and a fish, potentially. I'm just going to go with... Okay.
Okay.
Pick up all the cards and...
Okay.
Sure, even.
Big.
Oh, finally, we played something different.
Yay.
Which means that I get... Well, we both get a second.
Oh, yeah, and we can put it in any...
Yeah.
Okay.
So, now I've got the 15 points for the red. You've got the 0 points for the red.
Oh, we finished now.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, we finished. Okay. Okay, so we have to...
So now we just add up our own points. So it's the curry fish, curry veg, curry meat. And we can compare them just for playtesting data. But in terms of the game, we don't need to compare. Yeah, my fish is terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6. 30 for veg and 80. for meat?
Oh no.
What did you get for meat?
54.
Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Yeah. It feels like with this scoring method, you would want the pies to be a bit more similar.
Yeah, look at mine.
Oh, wow. Your pies are so beautiful and so constrained.
Yes, but so how many points do you have?
I have 110, 118. Plus 15 is 128, 133.
Okay, I have an 89.
Yeah, because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meat by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spice. What was so I was 8 times 10. What were you for the meat and spice?
Meat 54, veggie 24.
No, I mean what were you times what? Was it 9 times 6?
9 times red and 6 times yellow. So I was starting with a small pie, and I tried to make it very fishy. Because my idea still was that fish is very important, but it isn't. Fish isn't important. So we have to find something which makes the fish and the veggie more interesting than the meat.
If I had just done the meat and the red and literally nothing else and just trashed the other two, it would have been fine. Like, it's all about the big pie.
Yeah.
No matter what.
It's all about
Actually, with the fish, I scored the fish with the big pie. So if I had scored the small pie, my small pie is 2 fish times 3 spice. But in my big pie, because I happen to have 1 fish, it was 1 times 8, which makes it 8. And so it's not, I wonder whether you want to have pies that are similar in size, because actually at this point, maybe having the 3 times 4, and enjoy your lunch, Alex, and thank you for being here. I very much appreciate all the input that you've been giving. But I do very much wonder if we had 3 pies that were all 3 times 4. So like all of them were exactly like this. Wait. Yeah, like this one. I think that would be interesting. Because then the meat, yes, you're going to be able to fill one up with the meat quite easily. With another one, getting any points for your fish is going to be difficult. So do you put your fish? So you want to put all your fish into one pie, or limiting
but you don't need the fish. What about if you try this?
But if you don't have the big pie, then the most you can get with the medium pie is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. So that would be 6 times 6, which is 36. And so you can get 36 points with the meat. But because now the interesting thing is that you're restricted by what you're putting in there. And so getting a perfect meat and spice pie is not that challenging. So it's all about when you go for the others. So actually going for the others is the more interesting part of it, maybe. Even deliberately playing suboptimally to get the fish. feel like a 3 times 4, 3 times 4, 3 times 4, that might be good.
20. I'm just
like, it was very quick. I mean, that game, although it was just 2 players and we already know what we're doing, that took 10 minutes, which felt quite nice.
okay. I've just okay. First, maybe this could be something. So first, you count your curry with meat and curry with fish and curry with veggie, and then you multiply the fish amount with 4, you multiply the veggie amount with 3, and you multiply the meat one with 2. No?
I understand what you're trying to do there by solving the problem, by multiplying it, but this multiplication, it just feels like it's adding complication.
Okay, then we have to go back to every ingredient is 2 dice. Because why should we?
Let's try, please. Let's try 3 times 4 3 times, because then you're limited by 36 to the meat. So getting the veg is important, and getting the fish, I think, becomes more important. I would ask you, please, let's try the test. It will take like 10 minutes. You saw how quick it is. Let's do 3 by 4, 3 by 4, 3 by 4.
Yeah.
3 by 4.
So I still have some 3 by 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. I'm drawing it like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we bring in the 5th card?
Yeah.
Or...
Yes. Please.
So.
Okay. Can we start?
Yep. Just to let you know, I picked this card D for different.
Okay, and there are no points when you finish one pie. Is that correct?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe there's because if there's points for them, then you would just put the meaty stuff into that pie.
Yes.
Ooh, what if there's points for finishing a pie without meat?
What? Finishing a pie?
Without meat.
Without meat?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you finish, I mean, let's say that there's no points for finishing anything right now. I don't know.
Okay. So.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, lots of 2s. Wow.
Okay, I know what to do.
I don't.
Oh.
I'm going to... And are we saying that by playing differently...
You get one ingredient.
In any pie... Sorry, I hadn't chosen yet.
Yeah, in any pie.
I hadn't chosen yet, sorry. I was Sorry, if you can cover your card, because I hadn't chosen yet. Because I was genuinely thinking, okay, do I go for the even and get the spiciness and get the meat, or do I go for the small and get the fish and probably get the wild card, but then that's going to give you the wild card as well. So yes, I probably will go for the even still. Yep.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Okay. So, do. Okay, so spice and okay, done. We've got lots of 6s there.
Yes.
We've got a 1, 2, 4. Oh, both the spices are a 4. Very interesting. Okay, yes.
We're going big. Okay.
Yes. Just wait a minute. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm just trying to work out. I'm going to try and go for the different strategy just to see if it works. Because if we both go for the same strategy, then it's not an interesting playtest. So I'm trying to. This is my excuse for losing. I'm trying to see what will work interestingly. Okay, let's carry on. So I chose the fish. What I did put a little veg in there. Oh, wow. Are you ready?
Yes.
Odd.
Different.
Oh, okay. So we are going to be getting a bonus thing.
Yes. Okay.
Got that, and oh, maybe that was a terrible choice, but yeah, okay, I'm done. Four, 5, 6, 1. Okay. Okay.
Okay, have it.
I've chosen different.
Odd.
Okay. So I get to do one of them, and I get to place a bonus thing. Okay. This is what I'm doing so far.
Okay. Okay, back on our hands.
Show people.
Ooh.
Oh wow! All the 6s.
I have it.
Yeah, I'm going for the obvious.
No, I mean different.
Oh, interesting. Oh wow! Now I'm regretting making something imperfect. But did I finish that or? Yeah, I'm going to finish my fishy pie. It's almost perfect, but not quite.
Okay.
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 Two, 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 3, 5, 5, 6, 6. Interesting.
Okay, have it.
Okay. Small.
Even.
Interesting. I'm going to keep Patrick count. So 2 were the same, 4 have been different. Okay. I'm done.
Finish or no?
No, just as in I'm done for this one.
Okay, okay.
I'm starting my veggie pie. So I've got my fishy pie all full, and except for that one annoying veg in it, I've got some meaty pie on the go, and my veggie pie has just started.
Okay,
oh, wow.
I'm going.
This is interesting.
Damn it. Okay, have it.
Okay, big.
Small.
Okay. Six, 6, 5, 4, 2, 2, 1, 1. Interesting.
Okay, I know what to do.
Yes.
Big.
Odd. Boom.
Boom.
So we've got the V. I've got the spice, and I use my other extra thing to get the perfect veggie pie.
Yeah, I have a perfect meat pie and a perfect fish pie.
Every single... Wait, the last turn, did you... Oh, yeah, every single turn that we did that time was different. That's quite interesting. So I've just got 3 spaces left, so it's likely to be the last turn.
Okay. Ooh.
It might be that it's too easy with all the wilds that we're getting.
What? Yes.
Okay, fine. I don't think it really matters.
Okay, small.
Odd.
Oh, really? Great. That is good for me. Oh, no, it doesn't.
Are all your pies perfect?
All my pies perfect. Look.
Have you finished everything?
Yes, look.
Oh, wow. So, where can I... Oh, dare I make myself bigger? So, my pies are all almost perfect, except I have this one carrot in the fishy pie. And so because I wasn't ambitious enough, then I lose. So you get 36 points for each of them. I lose 6 points in my middle pie.
Okay, if we do it that way, we definitely have to give points for finishing the pies, but I don't know if it works.
It makes fish more important, it feels like. I mean, limiting the size of things helps.
But in every, when I play it again, I would do exactly the same trying that. I would not trying doing another way. I would exactly doing it the same.
I wonder... Okay, this is kind of extreme, but hear me out for a second. what? Consider 2 pies. We've got 2 pies. Within these 2 pies, we have to submit one of them for one of the awards and, you know, the other one for 2 awards, if you get what I mean. So we've got 3 awards, but it's only 2 pies.
Okay.
So then, no, because then the person's probably just going to mix 3 veg, 3 fish, and 6 spice in 1 pie. That's going to be the way it goes. That's always going to be the way it goes, isn't it? I feel like it succeeded in making the fish more important. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder if having a small pie and 2 mediums might be an interesting thing. Maybe you get points for submitting your fishy pie first, but here where it's meaty, fishy, and veggie, I think that's why you brought on the mixed, wasn't it? Because you wanted people to have to think about it.
So the good thing in the other tests before was that we have the mixed one. Have giving point for the sets, and this was very interesting. But now we have a fishy pie, a veggie pie, and a meat pie, and there's no reason to mix it.
I'm thinking, okay, we want points for the mix. Maybe if we say for the sets, you get some large number of points. Let's say 10 points for every set in 1 mixed pie. This is a lot, but it really pushes people towards not just separating. So you need to have 1 mixed pie. And now it's, how do you do the other things? Are you just going to do fish there and ignore fish in the other 2 pies then? Is it going to be 1 mixed, 1 veggie, 1 meaty? If I'm being, going back to the thing that we had at the start of the day, this already has its own problems in that it can tend towards us saying, okay, this is fish, this is veg, this is meat and mixed. And I don't know, I feel like that's the way that everyone was always going, having played it a few times with the big thing.
Yes.
So, I mean, it might be that this is just an inherently flawed game and we need to abandon it. On the other hand, it might be that there's some way of solving it. I am struggling to think right now.
So I think the only multiply curry with veggie, fish, and meat, we should keep that. But we should put in points for sets.
Sure.
Yes, and I don't know. So maybe in every in every you look in every pie, and then you get 10 points for every set. I don't know.
Wait, so every pie is going to get a bonus for being mixed?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. I think that could work.
Wait a minute. Modl?
Yeah, I really like that idea. At this point, it definitely feels like my mind might need a bit of a break. I guess we have been going since for about 2 hours.
So sorry.
Everything okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Good. Yeah, we've been going like almost 2 hours, because it was a bit after 10:30 that we
Yes.
started really talking about the game. Um,
I'm hungry
it-
too.
yeah, I'm hungry as well, but I really like the idea of doing this. You know what? When I go back down to London, if we want to do more online playtesting, let's
Yes.
kind of maybe next time we can do a bit more. But
Yes.
I think I like the idea of. I think that making the biggest pie smaller is definitely good.
Yes.
So currently it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 3 was the medium one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's if it was 4 times 4 for the medium pie? I mean, maybe that's okay. Or maybe we stick with the 3 different ones and it's getting points for sets everywhere. So is 10 points? Yeah, I think it has to be smaller for the big one. I think that it's just too big. 4 times 4, what's the biggest you can do then? 8 times 8 is 64. Is that still too much? Because if going for meat, 8 times 8, and then that means that nothing else matters, that's not very interesting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Let me just think of another quick idea what I had. So the thing you said before with legacy.
Mm.
So with the cards, we could do a little bit of legacy. So if for your first game you have this counting system, and for the next game you have other cards with other counting systems.
I will suggest that if we are going to do the legacy, 2 things. Firstly, I'm imagining something more like, I can't, the Fable system, like the fast forward or Fable system where, you can reset with one. But also, I think from a design point of view, and just for me, it was not an issue, but for my parents, again, looking at people who are struggling to learn games, in my city, when rules were coming out of it, that was something that was added complexity. I was like, wait a minute, we don't get points for that anymore. But I was trying to get points for that because I remember that being in. So I would suggest actually having additions. With the things that switch, if we have giant cards and are in the middle of the table and we say, okay, clearly these are in the middle of the table, maybe it's not so complicated because then it's not in your head. You don't need to remember, are we getting points for different colors? Are we not getting points for different colors? But for sure, I guess you could even, it would all be maybe with the same sheets of paper, because the sheets of paper has to be the same, because otherwise that has to be the same to make it so that you can play 5-player or 3-player, because otherwise how many sheets do you have for each style? You can't do the whole that one that I think Ignacy Trzewiczek did, Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. You know this one?
No.
So Imperial Settlers Roll and Write, every single page is different. So there's 100 pages, every single page is different. It's just an interesting idea. So the idea there is that it's a solitaire game, so you play each page once. I don't like it myself. I think that it's a very fascinating idea. I think it's wonderful that someone did it, but I think it was terrible. Sorry, I'm just aware that it's public, and I think that Ignacy Trzewiczek, just to make it clear, I think Ignacy Trzewiczek is a very accomplished designer. I want to be very respectful to what Ignacy did in this instance, and I think but for me, if I'm playing a game solitaire, I want to have something to compare it to. I want to play, for example, Friday, where I played Friday and people are like, I find it very difficult to win. Now I know what kind of game it is. Now I know if I actually manage to win that, then I should be proud. Whereas I play one of the Imperial Settlers Roll and Rights games, and I'm like, okay, I got 50 points. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of want something to come. Anyway, so that is, I will have to give a proper review because, you know, there's a definite nuance. And this is the thing about doing these kind of things publicly, like in a playtest, I'll be like, yeah, I don't like that, and then just carry on. But I definitely appreciate and have a lot of love for what was done. I just want to make that very clear because obviously this is being recorded. But yeah, if we have cards and then the cards are things that are changing the game and you're bringing new cards, that could definitely be something. Even an envelope, it says, hey, this is exciting, this is the last one. I do think it's worth us pondering if there is a sixth card that could come back. If it's the only one number was always too weak, I don't think that was a good thing. But if there's like maybe, but
yes,
maybe...
but with the card, so if we just imagine we have, it's a little bit like Legacy, and there are another cards going in. So the one number, if you play the one number, you always get a free ingredient.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, because then that's a bit more complicated. But one number plus the free ingredients. But then if neither of your neighbors plays it, it's 2 free ingredients.
Or something like that. So okay, let me just
so
check out. So if we play online or together again, so
we'll do it in 2 weeks' time. As I say, I'm in Glasgow until 23rd. I'm going to try and prioritize the time that I have with my family until I leave.
Okay,
and Alex just got back from the lunch, I guess. So he played this one, and then we found that meat was overpowered, and I suggested we lowered. Basically, I scored 80 points, and so nothing else mattered because I had such a brilliant meat thing, and that wasn't even perfect. But then I suggested we make everything 3 times 4, so 12 total. And then it was too easy. Rita managed to get the perfect score. I was 6 points away, so 1 decision wrong. I wasn't ambitious enough. I had a carrot in the middle of my fish pie, so that was a problem. But second time, I think we would both get perfect scores. But now, Rita's idea is counting sets, not just in one pie, not your most balanced pie, but every pie has a bonus for having variety. And so you get 10 points, maybe, for every set in every separate pie. This seems interesting. The other thing that we were thinking is that we can go back to having different sizes of pies and maybe having a little one that gives you 10 points, a medium one that gives you... And I don't know, is there any 3 times 3, 3 times 4? I'm trying to think if there's something different, because 4 times 4, it still seems like it's too much, because 4 times 4 can give you 64. And that still seems like the optimal way to play.
Okay, so I can playtest it live on Sunday again. So can you just repeat what I should test for the points? And so
I think that's the thing, like, we're not certain. I mean, we've decided that we like just currying everything. We like that kind of, but we need to tweak it to make this work. And so, yeah, shout out to CD. That was a great idea. Curried fish, curried veg, curried meat.
Okay, this is the first thing, okay. And the second thing, what should I test?
I mean, I'm also thinking myself, like, there's an opportunity for me potentially, like, yeah, with the family, I could actually play a few times. And it might be like, okay, Bez, when you're able to test with your family, it's not like my family's, oh yeah, we're going to test every night for you. But, my parents do enjoy spending time together. And this is the one thing that we can do together, playing games, because sitting in front of the television, it's not really spending time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're in the one house, then run out of things to, but yeah, I think the real question is, what should I test? And then by the time that Sunday comes around, I will have some ideas for
that's good.
We can test.
Okay, that's great.
So the scoring is curried fish scores that many points. Curried veg scores that many points. Curried meat scores that many points. Sets, let's say they probably score 10 points each in every pie. Or should they score more points in the bigger pie?
No. Too complicated. Just 10 points for every set.
Because so if we want to make it so that it's more challenging, what I think it should be is that the biggest is only, 4 times 3 seems like the biggest that. I feel like my issue. Alex asks a really good question, which is what makes the decisions most interesting for you? Having multiple strong strategies that would require a different dice selection. I think the other thing is maybe Rita, maybe it didn't work because we are 2 players. Maybe this is a 3-player minimum because we had. No, seriously, listen to me. 6 times out of. I actually stopped counting. I think it was, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. So 7 times out of 9 we played differently. That's a lot. So 7 times out of 9 we got a wild card. That lets us get the perfect pies. Do you know what I mean? Without that wild card, we would not have got the perfect fishy pie.
I don't know. So, but we didn't have the counting with the sets. So.
That is very true. And that would allow us to think, okay, do we bring in some sets? Do we not? But I do wonder, just with that, maybe the wild card in a different pie, it seems. Yeah, maybe the wild card has to be in the same pie. I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe we go back to that.
Yes.
And because with 2 neighbors that I have to compare it to, I feel like my wild cards would be about half as prevalent. So I might have gotten 3 wild cards rather than 6 or 7. I mean, I officially got 7, but I only used 6 of them. And it was because of those 6 wild cards that I was able to get all the perfect. And the wild cards actually cut across the interesting parts of which things am I going to go for. I almost wonder whether it's worth trying going back to only 4, so it's fairly obvious which one is best. But if you play differently, then you get 2 bonuses. So in that case, the decision in your head is, do I go for the thing that's clearly the best, giving me what's on the table, or do I go for the thing that's going to give me the 2 bonuses? When do I need the 2 bonuses? Do you know what I mean?
The problem that I have with that is when I draw it in and I draw the bonus, and then it's very complicated that you forget something or write too much in it, because you have to remember, oh, I have that too, but didn't I wrote it right down? I don't know. So
that's a fair point. Yeah, and I know my parents actually struggled to remember, okay, which ones have I taken? And my parents, when we were playing 2-player, was moving the dice, to be
Yeah.
able to remember what they had taken, which you
Yeah.
can't do with multiple people
Yeah.
normally.
Yeah.
Um,
So I would say one free ingredient.
okay. Maybe. I mean, it's. Alex suggests instead of a wild, maybe you choose one additional number. So if you say odd, and let's say, oh, that's actually quite interesting.
So I think this is much too overpowered, and it makes it a lot more complicated.
But it's very interesting because then I maybe specifically want to try to go for the thing that is less prevalent. It does go into bring up the mind games a lot. That is going to bring the mind games to the fore because suddenly, let's say we've got theoretically, let's say we've got 5 6s, or let's say we've got 3 6s, 3 4s, and a 1 and a 5. Let's pretend. Now, clearly even is the best number. So do I go for even and try to get that? Or do I try to go for odd, thinking that my neighbors are going to go for even, and then if they went, or maybe I go, yeah, in that case, maybe I'd go for big anyway. But yeah, maybe I go for, you know what I mean? Maybe I go for something, and then I think, okay, I'll be able to get those 3 6s anyway.
Okay, so I'm very, very hungry now, and I'm a little bit dizzy in my head.
Yeah, so, let's stop here. It's been good chatting. I will work out something. I will ponder something. We can always refresh. We can always go back. Whatever I test, it doesn't really matter. Let's maybe have a private conversation on Saturday night or Sunday morning, maybe.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Message me your availability on Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Wait, I can
just before your playtest, so that we can chat at the last. So we can do a last
Saturday night.
Basically, so I'm thinking that if I end up playing it with my family on Saturday night, then that opportunity I have time to get back to you. Yeah. But let's say goodbye for now. I will also get some lunch. Do you want to skedaddle and then I'll wrap up on my own? Or will you stay for... Do you want to skedaddle and I wrap up on my own, or would you like to stay for the wrap up?
No, just make the recap.
Okay, so what have we talked about today? We talked about what this means, all about this. We talked about last one laughing. We talked about social media and being overwhelmed by social media. And then we tried out some versions. We talked about the scoring system, that was a bit too complicated, and the 4 cards. It seems like 4 cards, really, it feels like what we want with 2 players is 4.5. But maybe with 3 players or more, 5 is perfect, because 4 players, we had 1 where we were the same, and 9 where we were the same, and 1 where we were different. With 5 cards, we had 7 where we were different, and 2 where we were the same. But with 3 players, maybe that's all right. With CD's suggested scoring system, it worked really nicely. Trying spicy meat, spicy veg, spicy fish, but meat was way too overpowered. So that wasn't good. And so we thought about what we could try. Then we tried this, and that wasn't good because it was too simple with 3 3x4s. It feels like we're making it worse, but then it's going to become even better. But we have to try some things. Do you know what I mean? It's like... You have to make it worse before it can become better.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if people want to check me out, I am, of course, as always, Stuff by Bez in most of the places. For example, stuffbybez.com, twitch.tv/stuffbybez, where you're probably watching this, youtube.com/stuffbybez, where I have all the old episodes, stuffbybez.com/discord, where you can join in for chats about cats or game design or all sorts of things. And, of course, all those other links like stuffbybez.com, and my email, if you really want to email me, is stuffbybez@gmail.com. I'm willing to share that privately if you want to get in touch. I do all sorts of work for hire. I want to give a shout out to Rita. Where do you like people to find you?
Mostly on Instagram, Rita on Fire, or I have also a German podcast. It's called Spielen aufs Ohr, where we have a podcast every 2 weeks. We're going online.
And a quick shout out to Tiz, of course, Tiz Creel, who is still very much part of the project. It's just that Tiz wasn't able to join us on this particular occasion. But please do check out Tiz on all the things. And I want to say a massive thank you to everyone. Thank you, obviously, Rita. Thank you, Tiz, who's like I'm trying to work out which direction in real life. It doesn't matter. You don't even know which direction I'm. But Rita's a bit south between us. Tiz is kind of north of Rita and south of me currently. But thank you to everyone who's been watching. Thank you to Alex. Thank you to Rob and Jay Foolsguard and Matthew Dunstan and Fish Moo and CD especially for the ideas of just doing the spicy pies. And yeah, like we had this interesting idea of like just comparing it to the person on your right. And thank you to CD for speaking up and saying, hey, I have this emotional reaction against that. Because otherwise we might have played it and then be like, wait a minute, people are getting upset before we understood that. So thank you, everyone. And just before we finish up, I want to say over to you. What are you up to? You can share anything if you want to. So after this, what are you doing? I'm going to eat some porridge probably. And then I'm going to later this evening learn to cook some chorește by me. And then I'm going to suggest with my family that we play some version of this, but I'll decide exactly what version after I've had some lunch. And I'm going to get in touch with Chris and write my descriptions for my next week of streaming. What are you up to, Rita?
I'm also eating something, and today I will do sports, hopefully. And showing some and watching some YouTube videos. Yeah,
fair enough.
Because I have a lot on my list.
I might actually be doing some more reading of books. I'm going to try and close my computer after like maybe 2 p.m. I'm going to try and close my computer. And so if anyone wants to contact me on any social media, well, you won't get me until tomorrow. But that's the thing. Like modern life, it makes you feel like you have to be available every hour. Do you know what I mean? And like someone messages you at like 10 o'clock at night, and suddenly, if it's work related, if someone's actually paying you, then you're like, oh, maybe I have to reply to that, and it's not healthy. It's really not healthy.
Yeah.
And if you want to check out my next streams, then please check out it over there. Tomorrow I'm having marketing with Dina and Jess Medringham. We're going to be talking about press releases, and I'm sure I will be learning a lot. On Friday, we're doing a quick Friendly Friday forum. I should point that out. Yep, for the next couple of weeks, it's going to be relatively quick. On Saturday, discussing media making with Antoinette, Anna Vassenberg, Matt Warwick, Dutch Yoda, and all these amazing people talking about why we chose the media that we did and our motivations behind it. Reviewing some books, meeting Flavian, all sorts of lovely things. Check it out on that link. That takes you to the Google thing. Share, spread the word. If you are watching on Twitch, I am going to raid somewhere, probably Idle Michael, if Idle Michael is going, and or if anyone has any suggestions. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Oh, wait a minute. Games of Fire is also going. So let me actually raid Games of Fire just because I raided Idle Michael yesterday. So if you're in the chat, please copy, paste some of that message, and we are going to raid Games of Fire. And for now, that is the end of the stream. Lots of love to everyone. And for now, bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. And bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Oh, lovely.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Rita.
Bye-bye.